those of you who don't know me, I'm Brother Kevin Christian. With Omicron Zeta signature. Yes, sir.
Can we correct that, Brother Dr. Kevin?
Excuse me, Brother Dr. Brother, for the last 20 years, I've been very fortunate to collect the history of our fraternity. And a lot of the brothers in this room have touched me and moved me and given me ideas of where to collect it. And a lot of it comes from Alpha Sigma. But I want to read something to you real quick, and I know in the essence of time, Brother Kurt, Brother Brandon, Brother Brown, a number of you have asked me to do something with regards to the history and even showcasing the history at the Alpha Sigma Centennial. I'd be more than willing to work with you to give you whatever you have or whatever you need to make that happen. Again, this is not my history, this is our history. A number of brothers back in the early 90s and the late 2000s would sit right where you were all sitting. They're all gone on to the Omega chapter now and would share history with me. One of them was Brother Francis Hall. How many of you in here either met him or knew who he is? Author of the Sigma Light. Brother Hall died January of 2006, January 20th. I remember it very clearly. Centennial, I was exhibiting at Howard University for our January Centennial, and it was pouring down rain. I had just brought Brother Colin to his car. He had bought some stuff. We had a small museum exhibit. And I got a call on my cell phone. It was Brother Hall's daughters. And he said, "Can you come up to the house, Daddy's house?" And I'm like, you know, what I do now. And I get up there, and then he had a huge living room. His house was up off of 16th and Bond. He had a huge living room, and in his living room, his roof had started flooding. And they were getting the house fixed. And they had 15 boxes down in the floor of his artifacts. And on the boxes, he had written my name. And I tell you, it takes a lot to move me, but I was so moved by that because he was driving home from the chapel meeting when he had a stroke. He was paralyzed from the neck down. And it took him a minute to find us. And for a minute, he wasn't the same, but he came around and he was self, and he would share stories with us and tell us everything. And again, he was the author of the Sigma Light. I have 2 of his original editions. I have the original galley that they first sent, but this is really, really interesting. When you go dig into stuff, you got to be careful what you find. One of the things I found that he did with another Alpha Sigma brother, J. Edgar Smith, they wrote it together. And the president at the time, when they put the Sigma Light together in 1945, was George Parker. He was the national president, all 3 from Alpha Sigma. And in Brother Hall's files, he had a thing called the Sigma Tablet. The preparation of this work began in November 1945 when we were discussing between ourselves the need of available information for instructions to new members and many of the older ones. The growth of Alpha Sigma chapter, a Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, has been interesting. This is not to be in any sense a history of the chapter, but to present a copy of the Certificate of Incorporation for the national body, the section of the Code of Law of the District of Columbia, which provides for the legal operation of the national fraternity and its growth through the formation of subdivisions called chapters and general information of national scope with particular attention given to Alpha Sigma Chapter, Washington, D.C. Useful information and service have been received from brothers A. Langston Taylor, Joseph Bryant, to whom we are most grateful. Our deepest hope is that they will serve as a foundation, making for extensive study and thorough recording of the services of persons and events valuable to the growth of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated. The attempt to condense this material and combine the scope omits the work and contributions of many persons. This may be due to the lack of knowledge or failure of those contacted to recall. This we regret deeply. We desire this work to be under the control of Alpha Sigma chapter of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated for organized distribution. We invite your brotherly and justifiable criticism so that if future work of a broader scope is done, we shall meet the demand of the task. May the work and growth of Alpha Sigma chapter continue to enhance its requirements for a greater Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Yours fraternally, Francis Llewellyn Hall and J. Edgar Smith. So, before the Sigma light, they were going to do the Sigma tablet for Alpha Sigma chapter. So you see, here, I got it, it's right here. That's Alpha Sigma, 1945. Here it is, I can show it to you. So, just real quick, I know for the essence of time, and here again, I'll definitely come back and do this and show you stuff. I just wanted, if you would indulge me real quick. What is an Alpha Sigma? My brother Joseph Brown, 1938. Always be seen with an Alpha Sigma. What is an Alpha Sigma? We may not be able to answer this to everyone's satisfaction, but we do have some very definite ideas on what an Alpha Sigma should be. We were chosen as superior men when we were elected for membership in our fraternity, and our idea of superiority in mankind are those who are leaders. What then is the primary essence of leadership? Let us, in pondering this question, consider one of our government's great schools of leadership, the Military Academy. For those of us who live or have lived in West Point, the sight of a group of cadets is not uncommon. And as we recall the many that we have seen, the outstanding characteristics that linger in our memories is probably their extreme youth. But it's not of that fact that we wish to comment at this time. We ask you to go deeper into your subconscious mind and to see if you can recall a single instance of ever having seen one of these future leaders of our Army conduct himself other than a gentleman. Or to put it another way, have you ever seen one of them make a spectacle of himself? The answer, despite their youth and despite their having gathered from every section of our country, is no. And the answer is no because from the time of their interest, they are drilled in the principles of gentlemanliness. Thus, it would seem if the government of the United States places such importance on gentlemanliness in training its leaders, we who have been chosen from among our fellow men as natural leaders should probably consider gentlemanliness as the first essence of leadership. Therefore, in defining an Alpha Sigma man, be it said he is a leader and a gentleman. We think that we have earned the right, QED, to question what is an Alpha Sigma. We should therefore like to offer the following slogan, which is, if followed, will make ours a better fraternity. Always be seen with an Alpha Sigma man, and you will be seen with a leader and a gentleman. All right. 81 years ago. And then just real quick in the essence of time. Everyone always says, Brother Christian, when was Alpha Sigma founded? That's very interesting. At Howard University, we found a document where Dr. Elaine Leroy Locke was initiated into Alpha chapter in March of 1915. And he was initiated with 4 others. They were the first honorary members. Elaine Leroy Locke, Thomas W. Turner, T. Montgomery Gregory, and Edward Porter Davis. They were all distinguished professors at Howard. So you would say to yourself, why would they join a college fraternity? Well, it was the men in the fraternity. They were their students. Elaine Leroy Locke was the first Black Rhodes Scholar. Why would he need to join a college fraternity? It was definitely the students, and I think that's why they did it. Anyone know who the first graduate member was? Herbert L. Stevens. Charter Beta chapter at Wiley College. Okay, in 1915. So he was gone. I strongly believe that because the fraternity was new And because they weren't sure where they were, how things were going, and it was, even though our soldiers weren't fighting in it, World War I had started. So a lot was going on. So it's not like, they had computers and they had this, and they did everything, snail mail and writing, and the climate was totally different. So from 1915 to 1919, not too much was happening. They were still trying to figure things out. And it's very interesting. About 15 years ago, I happened to go over to Big Hutch's house one day, visit him, and he had shared some of his history with me to take to the conclave. We were exhibiting at the conclave. And he told me about Colonel Robert Pollard Jr., who was the son of Colonel Pollard, who was made in 1919. And he said, he has some stuff. He probably has a lot of stuff, but you might not be able to get some things from him. He might not be participatory. There were some things that Colonel Pollard held against the chapter. And I'll share it. I sat down and wrote him a letter. He didn't answer my letter until 6 months. And he said, give me a call and come on over. He lived in Atlanta. And he said, you just missed, he said, I apologize, you just missed me. My dad had 200 crescents in a box and I threw them away. Oh, that happens all the time. That happens all the time. It was interesting though, because he was frat. He was frat. So you kind of, he felt that the chapter had treated his dad poorly. That was his story. Well, to my surprise, we talked to them about a year later. I got a package at my house. It was the Alpha Sigma Charter. Now, it's very interesting because I struggled. He asked me, he said, I'm giving this to you, and I want you to have it, and we can do it legally, however you want to do it. But you have to make me a promise. Sure, Brother Pollard, what you want me to promise you? He said that you will never give it to Alpha Sigma. Okay? Why do you feel that way? And we had a conversation. And I said, okay, you got it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to share it because it's our charter. It's one of the first. Now, the date on the charter is June 1st, 1924. We all know that Alpha Sigma was around before June 1st, 1924. It just wasn't called Alpha Sigma. In the early 1920s, the graduate chapters were called, matter of fact, you know what Alpha Sigma was called? Anybody? The Howard University, Washington, D.C. Alumni Chapter. Because it was so close to Howard. Okay? And there's a lot of interaction with Howard. The oldest program that we found from the conclave is from 1920. It's on file at Howard University. And in the 1920 conclave, it says Washington, D.C., Howard University Alumni Chapter. So we know that was there. I think the reason why the charter is dated 1924 is they started assigning the Greek letters. Okay? So it was definitely around, I'm going to say, 1918, 1919 is when it started to really take effect, and when they really started seeing the older brothers, the professional brothers, the brothers who had graduated, the brothers who returned from the war, coming back. And real quickly, I said in the essence of time, I can talk. Marvin Burton, would you come up here for a minute? And then Brother Draper, would you come up here for a minute? You the current education director?
Yes, sir.
The education director for Alpha Sigma from 1947 to 1950 was found at A. Langston Taylor. Here's his report, and and he signed it. So you have his signature, you have his DNA, and you have the report. Brother Burton, this is for you. Okay? Will you share that with the chapter and everything?
Nope.
His signature is hard to find. Brothers, I just appreciate all that you've done for me, and the fact that your honesty, your candor, everything that you did. Here's a chapter of Alpha Sigma, 1959. There you go, sir. Real quick, here's one, and I'll set it on here on the table if you want to stay afterwards. Here's a chapter picture of Alpha Sigma at the 50th anniversary of the fraternity. In it are two brothers still living in Alpha Sigma, and they're right next to each other, Big Hutch and Brother Pemberton. Wow. Will you make me a copy?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's what I said.
Last thing, real quick. To you who have accepted the invitation of Phi Beta Sigma to join its fellowship, I offer my best wishes for a long and successful journey along the road you have chosen to follow. You are joining an organization whose basic principles, brotherhood, scholarship, and service underlie the fundamental purpose of the human race. Without these principles, human society would be weak and a menacing institution. These principles are concretely expressed in our motto, culture for service and service for humanity. Over the passing years, Sigma has translated these principles into tangible deeds of service to the community. It has been truthfully said that you get out of an organization just what you put into it. If you put good fellowship and hard work into Sigma, your reward will be accordingly. The traveler who would bring back the wealth of the Indies must carry the wealth of the Indies with him. That is from Cervantes. As you travel along the fraternal highways as sons of Sigma, may you ever seek to honor, to guard, and to strengthen these fundamental principles of our organization. If you do this, we will have the satisfaction of knowing that when we hear the call, Phi Beta of the day, we will thunder back along the way. Our call speeds on. That was A. Langston Taylor to Brother Hall's line, 1935. Wow. Thank you, brother. What year did you say, 1964, that was the 50th anniversary. Thank you, brother.